Guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Choma Stitches and my name is Choma. On today's sewing tutorial, we're going to be making a bubu dress with tassels. I already have a tutorial on this channel on how to attach tassels to dresses. But this is another tutorial. For this one, we're making it with Ankara. The first one, we made it with a crepe fabric. You can go ahead and check it out. A lot of people have so many questions about this particular tutorial. Some of them doubted the fact that I used 2 yards in making that beautiful piece. And I don't know if you know that 2 yards is made of 36 inches and the length of the crepe, like the width of that crepe, is about 60 inches. So if you have 2 yards of 60 inches times 2, then you know that you can actually achieve that particular outfit with 2 yards. If you didn't really understand that, then this is a second chance for you to try and understand how to attach tassels to a dress, and in this case, beautiful bubu Ankara dress. Now, I couldn't find this color, the black. I couldn't find it in as many as I wanted, so I have just 10 pieces here. So we're going to be distributing it as 5 in front and 5 at the back. I'm going to go ahead and start arranging this fabric the way we're going to cut it. Now, because this is an Ankara, and you can see this Ankara is a complete 6 yards, not taking out anything from it yet. So I'm going to be folding it not according to the selvages but in a different order. Now these are the selvages of the fabric here and over there, and this width is not going to be enough for the length I want to achieve on this bubu. I need it to be at least 49 or 50 inches long. So to achieve that, I'll have to fold like this. So I'm going to go ahead and fold it in this direction. So I'm folding like this to achieve the length that I want. I'm going to cut out the length of 52 inches so that when I'm done sewing, I will arrive exactly at where I want it to be. Okay, so as you can see, I have cut out the length I want. So I want to fold it into 4 so we can have the front and the back pieces. Okay, so this, I've taken one part. This is the right side and this is the wrong side. So I'm folding it this way, and I'm going to fold the full length again. So I'm going to fold it again like this to come this way. So let me arrange this. So here, I folded it better. Now I hope you understand the folding. These are the selvages of the fabric. Okay, so it's folded first in half, folding both selvages together to give you the complete length of both the front and the back first. Okay, like I said, I cut this out of complete 6 yards of Ankara. Now and then I folded it again. So to cut out the neckline, for bubu dresses, you have to make the neckline wide enough so that you can wear it comfortably without a zipper. That's if you don't want to add a zipper. So what I have here now is 3 yards of Ankara. Okay, you can also make your bubu dress without a shoulder joining. That is something you can also play around with. So I'm going to start marking out my 1 inch for my starting point. Okay, and then exactly on that 1 inch, I'm going to mark out the neckline of 3 inches. Now because I have both the front and the back folded together, the one on top is going to be the front, the one underneath will be the back. So for the back neckline, I'm just going to come down by 0.75 inches. While for the front neckline, I'm going to come down to like 9.5 inches. So at this 9.5 inches, I'll use my ruler as a guide and just... Now like I said, I want the length to be 49 inches. So from here, I'm going to rule down to 49.5 inches. This excess here, we're going to be using it again. So I'll be needing like I'm going to mark out 1.5 inches. So I will show us how we are going to be using this 1.5 inches later. So I'm going to cut out this part that I don't need, keeping the 1.5 inch bias cutting. This one I need it, I'm going to set it aside. And then for the width of this dress, I want the width to be around 36 inches. 36 inches divided by 2 will be 18 inches, plus 1 inch for side sewing allowance. I'm going to be marking out 19 inches. So I'm going to mark out 19 inches from here all the way to the top. But I ended up marking 19.5 inches instead of 19 inches. Here I'm going to mark out the sleeve opening. For the sleeve opening first, I'm going to come down for the shoulder slope by 1.5 inch. and then I'm going to mark 9.5 inches for the sleeve opening. Okay, now at this sleeve opening I'm going to extend it to this 2 inches, okay, or 2.5 inches. Let's extend to 2.5 inches. So I'm going to extend by 2.5 inches here, and then at this armhole I will curve it to meet the body of the bubu. And then I'm going to be connecting the shoulder slanting to the neckline, that 1.5 inch all the way to the neckline. The reason why I have this starting point so that I can add allowance at the shoulder. Okay, so I can now add 1/2 inch allowance for joining. Now you can also add allowance for the neckline. This will be for turning the facing if you don't want to use bias. Now I like to use fabric as the facing because it comes out neater. So I'm going to be using fabric to face this one as well. So I've added 0.25 inches for both the front and the back. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it out now, starting from the neckline. So I'm going to cut the back neckline first. So I'm cutting both of them together. And then I'm going to cut out the shoulder slope. Now cut out the front neckline alone. And then I can now cut out the side. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out the facing, the fabric I'll use for the facing. So just follow like this and do the same thing for the back. Okay, so I've cut out the lining pieces and I'm going to go ahead and start attaching them. So I'm going to go ahead and sew them. Sew the facing for both the front and the back, and also hem the sleeve opening. Okay, so I have sewn the neckline and top stitched it. Okay, and then I've hemmed the sleeve opening. Okay, now it's time to attach the tassel, and I want to show us how I'm going to be attaching the tassel. First of all, I am doing this calculation not because it is a standard, it's just I want to manage the tassels I have. Like I said, I want to put 5 in the front, 5 at the back. Okay, now the width of my dress minus the 1 inch sewing allowance on each side, it will remain 37. Okay, now that 37 divided by 5, you have to divide 37 by 5, the 5 tassels that will be placed on it. I have 7.4 inches. Let me turn it to the right side and show us how I'm going to calculate the 7.4 inches. I'm going to first mark out the 1 inch seam allowance, sewing allowance here on this side. Now that 7.4 inches, instead of marking 7.4 inches from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide 7.4 inches by 2, gave me 3.7. So I'm going to come here and mark 3.7. Now the reason why I had to mark 3.7 here instead of 7.4 is because I want to give room in between the tassels. Now if you start at the beginning here, you will also end up starting at the beginning when you get to the back piece, which will now make 2 tassels sit beside each other. But we want proper spacing in between them. Now looking at the back piece and the front piece together like this, if you start at the beginning for each of them, you have 2 tassels sitting just beside each other, and we don't want that. So what we are going to do is start from 3.7 inches on each side. That way there will be proper 7.4 inches in between each tassel, both from the back to the front and vice versa. I hope you understand the explanation. So now to attach this down, to place the tassels, I'm going to start placing them on that marking. So for this side, I'm starting at the 3.7 inches. I'm going to place one here, and then this one, place it at this 3.7 here, like this. Now the next one is going to be on the 7.4 inches. So I marked that 7.4 inches here. I'm going to place it here. The next one will be another 7.4 inches for the front piece. I'm going to place another one, 7.4 inches. Now you're going to continue like this until you get to the end. Then the last tassel before the last sewing allowance, you also place it at 3.7 inches to match the 3.7 inches that will follow it. You get exactly 5 tassels on the front. To conceal these tassels, the joining, I have this piece. Okay, this is the piece I cut out when I was cutting out the pattern, when I was cutting out the bubu. This is the end of the bubu, the hem. Towards the hem, I cut out this piece and I cut 2 of it. So I'm going to be using it to conceal this part. Okay, so if you want to make yours, you can make it 1.5 inches or you can make it 2 inches. This one is 1.5 inch, depending on how bold you want the hem to be. Okay, so I'm going to place this like so. The tassel will be in between the main fabric and this bias piece. So following this distance, I've placed 3 now. This is the third one. And then here will be, now you see, after measuring it, you find out that at the end here you have another 3.7 inches space before the 1 inch sewing allowance. Okay, so that means when you take that measurement, if it comes out like that, it means you measured it well. So I'm going to place the last one here. This is the 5th one. So now I'm going to go ahead and sew this. Sew with 1/2 inch and then top stitch it on this bias piece before you turn it the other way and sew it again. I'll do the same thing on the back piece, exactly the same way. Alright, so to attach it now, since I've already pinned them, I'm just going to start sewing at 1/2 inch. Now after sewing the tassels, next thing you're going to do is to top stitch. So I'm going to turn this over like this and then I will top stitch on the bias piece. Now after top stitching it came out neat. So next you are going to now sew in the bias piece on the wrong side, obviously. So I'm going to bring it in. That's why I said you decide how wide you want it to be. You can make it wider than this, so you can now fold in 1/4 inch or 1 inch, however you want it. You can make it bold or less bold, however you want the hem to be. That's the width of the bias you are going to cut. I'm going to go ahead and sew this, and that's how you attach the tassel. Okay, and this is how it comes out. Look at how beautiful that is. So like this, your tassel is neatly sewn. Look at that. When you iron this, it looks even flat and way finer. Okay, so after attaching the tassels, this is what we have, looking pretty. So next is to attach the pocket, and I have not cut out the pocket, so I'm going to go ahead and cut out the pocket. I have to apologize, the video was not recording when I was cutting the pocket and attaching the pocket. If you don't know how to sew pockets to bubu dresses, do well to check out my sewing tutorials on other bubu dresses that have pockets. I'm going to leave some of them, the link in the description box. Do well to check them out and you will learn how to attach a pocket. I've sewn the pocket and I've ironed it, so now I'm going to go ahead and join the shoulders. Okay, now because of the facing I added, I can now conceal the neckline like this. That's the shoulder, like this, using the facing to sew it, to conceal this part of the shoulder inside. So when you are done, you're going to weave inside of the dress to keep it neat and so that the fabric does not continue shredding. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and join the shoulder and then join the sides, and then I'll place it on the mannequin to show us how it looks. If at this point you have not subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Please go ahead and subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I drop a new tutorial. I want to say a very big thank you to those of you who take out time to leave comments in the comment section. I appreciate it very much. Thank you so much. See you all in my next tutorial. Bye bye.